From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Sulaiman Al-Leder.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Air Force officers, 6 others paraded by the Department of State Service, DSS, as kidnappers. Federal government confirms payment of 360 billion naira to PHCN staff as severance allowance. Former Kaduna State Governor Balarabe Musa examines the presidential letters, says General Obasanjo is as guilty as President Jonathan. And South Sudan's President Salva Kiir claims the town of Bor has been recaptured from rebel soldiers.
On business news tonight, the Nigerian stock market closes for the Christmas holiday as investors rake gains of stocks.
And on sports news, Super Eagles coach Stephen Keshi set World Cup target to surpass the round of 16 performance of the class of 1994.
Music here and from Abuja, Aviation Minister Stella Udua showcases new facilities at Lagos Airport, corrects impression that the House of Representatives proposed her sack to the President.
Well, 24-year-old serving Nigerian Air Force man, Lance Corporal Sulaiman Mohammed, attached to the Ministry of Defense, was among 7 suspects paraded today by the Department of State Service for the kidnapping of a Sokoto-based businessman, Alhaji Dan Kure. Parading the suspects in Abuja, the acting spokesperson of the service, Mr. Donyi Adetubero, who reaffirmed the commitment of the service to combat all forms of insecurity in the country, says the suspects who collected a $290,000 ransom from the family of the victim will soon be arraigned in court.
On 6th November 2013, Alhaji Abu Dankure, a prominent Sokoto-based businessman and philanthropist, was kidnapped at his construction site located at Ofar Quarry area along Western Bypass, Sokoto. Alhaji Dankure was released by his captors on 11th November 2013. Alhaji Abu Dankure, a prominent Sokoto-based businessman and philanthropist, was kidnapped at his construction site located at Ofar Quarry area along Western Bypass, Sokoto. Alhaji Dankure was released by his captors on 11th November 2013 and died 11 days later. The determination of this service to unravel the criminals behind the dastardly act led to the arrest of the masterminds of the crime, Muhammad Abubakar Magaji, aka Ruwa, Faruku Waziri, aka Umar Abubakar, Muhammad Bukar, aka Muhammad Danshua, Usman Ida, aka Ele Atuluku, Abdullahi Musa, aka Abdul, and Lance Corporal Sulaiman Mohammed, aka Jimmy. Sulaiman Mohammed is a gun runner and a serving member of the Nigerian Air Force.
Now, former president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Reverend Peter Akinola, who was kidnapped in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, this afternoon, has regained his freedom. Confirming this, police spokesman in the state, Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi, said the former primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion was rescued at Iboro, a border town in the state, by a team of policemen. Reverend It was guarded that the incident happened in front of the main entrance of the Peter Akinola Foundation Center for Youth Industrial Training, located on the Abeokuta-Lagos Expressway. Ms. Adejobi said the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ikemefuna Okoye, had ordered a manhunt for the suspects. He urged members of the public to assist the command by volunteering information on criminal activities in the state. Now, Borno said Governor Kashim Shettima has been clarifying issues on the security challenges in his state. The governor, who was at his presidential villa to brief the president about the kidnapping of some women and children by the Boko Haram terrorists, said those kidnapped had been rescued. Governor Shettima denied allegations that the barracks have been deserted, saying that only women and children were moved while the soldiers are in place to check the insurrection. He said that the federal government is doing its best to ensure that the people of Borno State have a hitch-free Yuletide.
Well, it's equally not authentic. I'm the man on the ground, and I think I can tell you authoritatively on what is happening. Women and children normally, in times of crisis, are moved to safer locations. But the soldiers are on ground. They are right now in Burma. I'm just here to brief Mr. President on what transpired in Burma, and I believe that very soon this issue will be promptly addressed and it will be a thing of the past very soon.
Well, the former governor of Old Kaduna State, Mr. Balarabe Musa, may not be a close friend of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, but he has come out very strongly to defend him on the open letter he wrote to President Goodluck Jonathan. In an interview with Channels Television in Kaduna, the former Second Republic governor of Old Kaduna State says Chief Obasanjo's letter raised fundamental national issues, especially those bordering on the president's inability to address the hydra-headed problem of corruption.
Why was he elected president if he was elected at all? It was because Nigerians wanted him to correct what is wrong. How much correction has he made? If he had made it, the negative state of the situation wouldn't have continued to this extent, because the president of Nigeria is very powerful and he has financial resources. He can deal with the matter, but has he dealt with the matter? For instance, this question of corruption. Is it not true that from the facts and from the reports of the media, he seems to be encouraging corruption? Many examples, and the media has made it available. I don't think I can fault Obasanjo except to tell him that, look, you are as bad as Jonathan. You did bad things during your leadership, just as Jonathan is doing now. I can tell him this, but I can also say that he has a moral responsibility to do what he did because of the privileges he had in the Nigerian system. He would have committed greater crimes by just keeping quiet.
Well, and more prominent Nigerians have also been pouring out their minds on the issues raised in the open letters by former President Olusegun Obasanjo and President Goodluck Jonathan. Our political correspondent, Sheol Kimbaloye, in this report puts together some of these views.
The 11-page response of President Goodluck Jonathan to former President Olusegun Obasanjo's 18-page open letter laden with weighty allegations have gone beyond mere correspondence between two elder statesmen to a grave concern for Nigerians. The reply is coming at a time Nigerians were contemplating whether or not the president should reply to former president, as the credibility of the retired general came under intense criticism.
I won't put the first in the media. Again, I repeat, the second has to be in the media. If the first was not put in the media, and I must say that President Obasanjo was wrong to have given it to the press, everything he said was not for media. They are important, they have their values and these values, but I will not blame President Jonathan for putting his own in the media, otherwise there will be no balance. What he said, I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but whatever the content is, it should have been very confidential and private between the president and himself. That is the area, with the greater respect, where President Obasanjo was wrong. They should never have been brought into public domain. In government, you swear oath, you swear an oath. And one of the things you say on oath is that you keep secret all the things you are doing.
Now that President Jonathan has replied, the rebuttal has now come under critical examination on whether it meets the expectations of Nigerians considering the weight of the allegations leveled by General Obasanjo.
I think the president's spin doctors did not fully discharge their duties, because the president's response was a little bit wishy-washy, almost patronizing. He wanted to score political points. He's not up to it. He can't stand up, let's face it, to General Obasanjo. You know, he kept deferring to him, calling him Baba and all that.
We are very disappointed with Baba Obasanjo, sincerely speaking. And from the history behind his letter that I have been writing, it justifies that, you know, Nigeria is not in his pocket.
Although President Jonathan in his own letter says because of the commitment of the affairs of state, he would not be able to respond line by line to General Obasanjo's claims, there are very germane issues to national development such as corruption and training of snipers and the 1,000 Nigerians on political watch list raised by the former president. Has the president's response satisfactorily addressed these concerns?
It's no longer good for him to then say, oh, all these problems that you are pointing out to me, warning problems that I create, the warning problems that started with my administrations. So they started years gone by, and so I'm not going to do anything about them. I find that very unacceptable. And that's why I say that the president has not addressed the concerns of Nigeria.
The die is cast as Nigerians have now put the two letters on a scale, but it appears the 2015 agenda is not lost on the controversies raised in the interactions between the two men.
Since this opportunity to tell Nigerians that the presidency is rededicating itself to serve Nigerians better, it's missed because that letter has not addressed those issues. Perhaps the two things left for the president till the end of his tenure, two things, is delivering on his promise to hold a national conference and then guaranteeing a free and fair election in 2015.
The political atmosphere is saturated already with mountainous dissension, and it brings more concern as Nigerians anticipate good governance. And with the rate of distractions caused by political activities, indeed Nigerians may be impatient with who else will score the biggest political point. What in essence they will want to see urgently is who will make their lives better. Sheung Okinbaloe reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, in part two, after the break, President Jonathan congratulates Christians at Christmas, insists the national dialogue is the best option for the country. That's in a moment. To stay with us.